Hi, and welcome to what is going to be episode 3 of the Orsa Knits Podcast. I'm Icy and I'm a knitter based in Rome, Italy. And if you've been here before, you might notice that my background is a bit different today, and that is because I am in our new apartment here in Rome. I'm really happy to be in our new place. This is the spare room, which I'm sort of covertly trying to convert into my knitting studio. So if you have any suggestions for cute knitting related decor, do let me know in the comments below. I want to say a big thank you to all my lovely subscribers who have left comments on my other videos. I really love reading them and I love getting to know about the people who watch my videos. I have such a lovely little community of knitters here watching me. I'm really lucky with that, and there are a few more of you here now, so yeah, welcome or welcome back. This video is slightly delayed just because there have been a few big changes in the recent months. We've moved in here, so that was quite a massive undertaking and it took away from a lot of my knitting and video making time. But I hope now I'm here and I've got a little bit more of a permanent setup that I will be able to keep up with my podcast a little bit more regularly. And also, I was recently able to visit my parents for a couple of weeks. They live in a small town on the shores of Lake Como, which is just absolutely gorgeous. For any of you who have been there, I'll drop in some photos if you haven't seen it before. It's just really stunning. I was so happy to be able to see my family for a bit. I know how precious time with family is to everybody at the moment, so I felt very lucky to be able to see them for 2 whole weeks. And on my train ride there, I did knit some of my Friday tea, which feels like is going to take absolutely ages on the tiny needles I'm knitting it on in the fingering weight yarn. But I made a bit of progress, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. Now that I've almost unpacked all of our stuff in our new space, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable and I'm trying to carve out a bit of knitting time every morning before work. I've been really enjoying coming in here, which is lovely and bright, and having a bit of breakfast or having a mug of coffee and trying to work on some of my latest whips. There have been a couple of things that have taken longer than I expected, and also a few mishaps relating to my needing to order more yarn, but I'll get to those in a minute. I've also been feeling hesitant about working with thick or warm fibres just because it is 30 degrees here and therefore it feels quite odd to be working with something woolly and autumnal or wintry. But I have been really admiring all of the gorgeous summer things that people have been making, which brings me on to my one and only, unfortunately, finished object, which is my beautiful Camisole No. 4. And here it is. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I think that the shape is absolutely stunning, and the way that the bust is created with these bits that go straight down, they just give a really feminine look to the top, and they mean that it sits really nicely when on. And as always, I will put in some video of me actually wearing this top. I like to pair it with a white linen shirt over the top. So silken linen, it feels very summery and very fresh and lovely, but I don't tend to wear so many little sort of camisole tops just on their own. Not in the city anyway, just because I feel, I feel like it's almost a bit immodest, I suppose. I know I'm just being silly, but I just don't always like people being able to see my arms, I think. Not that there's anything wrong with my arms, but I just feel a bit weird about it. So yeah, I put on my white linen top over the top of it and leave it open, and I think it looks lovely and floaty and feminine. And yeah, this was a very easy knit, really, except for the triangle parts here, which you have to shape with fairly extensive instructions for each line. There are also little triangles at the back, which create the look at the back, which is sort of like that. It's really pretty and really, really well thought out, and I like how it looks a little bit like crochet. I mean, this texture is just very, very sweet, and I think it pairs well with quite a lot of things. It's quite effortless and chic, and the fact that it's knit in silk means it's so, so cool. When I just hold the fabric against my skin, I can feel how cool it is just holding it like that, which is very impressive. And I am, in the end, fairly happy with the colour. I was a little bit worried that the colour would be a bit odd on me because it is sort of a little bit more pale green, I guess. Yeah, just a little bit greener than I had initially anticipated, because in the images on the pattern she uses the same colour, but it does look quite different. That might be lighting or editing of the image, I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't really look exactly how mine turned out. However, I'm still really happy with it. It is pretty. I think it goes okay with my skin tone. This colour doesn't wash me out too much, so that's good. And yeah, this is my one finished piece. A little bit pathetic. I had hoped to get a lot more done to show you all, but I just feel, you have to enjoy the process, you have to take it easy, and you have to not rush knitting. It is slow, and if you're knitting with fingering weight yarn on tiny needles, it takes time. It is always going to take longer than you anticipate. But what I will say is my next project is probably going to be bulkier, maybe. Well, we'll see, because it won't be weather appropriate if it is. But yeah, I've got a few ideas I'm going to share with you at the end about what I might knit next, but I'm not in the mood for 3mm needles, unless it's socks. I mean, socks would be okay on 3mm needles, but anything else, no. I need a break, and I need something thicker to work with that doesn't take quite as long to see it growing. Now on to the first of my whips, and what I'm going to refer to as the infamous Friday tea. Infamous just because it is taking me so long, and you can see I am making progress. There is light at the end of the tunnel on these. What size are these? Let me see if I can have a look. Oh, I can't find the size. I think that they're 3.5mm with fingering weight yarn. And yeah, it looks really, really cute. So I am persevering, and I'm hopeful that all my effort will be worthwhile. I do think that it will look quite good when it's on. I like the colours. I feel like they are sort of sandy and yeah, will go well with quite a lot of my other summery things, but it's just taking me so long. Yeah, it's the structure of the stitches that creates this similar look. So it's the similar stitch pattern to the camisole. It's really pretty, as I said on my last episode, but it does take a long time because you're doing one line of knit, which is fast and lovely and great, and then you're doing another one which is knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and yeah, it's just a long project. And I hope, fingers crossed, that I will finish it this week or the coming week. But there is no guarantee because it just seems to take longer and longer and longer and longer. I was knitting on it on the train, and yeah, knitting on this and then falling asleep just because it's a 3-hour train ride and I was quite tired. I'd stayed up way too late the night before chatting and saying goodbye to my parents. But yeah, fingers crossed, one more or a few more days, under a week, and this will be done. And next time I see you, it will be finished and it will be on me and it will be great and worth the effort and the 3.5mm needles and all the time and stress and unpicking tiny mistakes that ruin the whole look. Yeah, I guess it serves me right. I just hadn't thought about it. I saw it, I fell in love with it, I thought, yes, I have to make it, and I didn't think about how long it was going to take me. You learn, I guess. Yeah, my next project is going to be something bulkier, absolutely. Now, the other thing that I mentioned last time was my Scout Shawl by Florence Spurling, which is really beautiful. I'll attach another image just to remind you what it is. And the yarn that I have reserved for that is behind me right here. All of this lovely Knitting for Olive stuff is going to be used for that. And I had made myself a little swatch of the two colours that I was going to use for the initial panel of colour work for that shawl. But on knitting that up, I realised two things. Number one was that those colours were way too similar, that the colour work just was not showing up with the contrast that I wanted. Therefore, I knew I was going to have to order some yarn. So I have placed an order from an online yarn shop that I really like for another ball of the Knitting for Olive Merino. And this one is in a shade, I think it's Dusty Honey, something like that, something honey, but it's a more vibrant yellow that I think will just look a lot better with the other colours that I've selected. So hopefully that will arrive in the next couple of days, and then I'll get started on that in earnest and be able to show you the progress that I'm making. Now, problem number 2 that I had when I was swatching for the Scout Shawl was the fact that I realised I did not know how to purl when doing colour work. Now, foolish me had thought, purling when doing colour work, it'll just be like knitting when doing colour work, but just purling, it will be fine. I'll be able to do that. How wrong was I? I now understand why people steek, which I haven't tried, and I'm very nervous about, but I understand. Purling colour work is miserable. It's very, very tiring, and just not particularly great. Well, that's how I used to feel. But now I have made myself this little swatch and I'm feeling a lot more confident. Now, this swatch is, sorry, the strings are still sticking out. This swatch is just a little idea for a pattern that I had. I thought it was a little bit summery and could be quite cute. Maybe on a bag, maybe on a cushion, or maybe even on a camisole, but I have to think about it. You tell me what you reckon, which one I should go for. I'll just give you a closer look. Yeah, quite pretty. But yes, this taught me so much about purling colour work. I'm really, really happy that I managed to not master it, because that is way too much of an overstatement, but at least understand the basics of how to do it, because I was really quite lost before I learned how to do this. Oh, what's going on here? It seems some of it has slipped apart. I'll have to repair that later. But yeah, it is tiring, but it is worth it in the end. And I think when I finally start my Scout Shawl properly, it's going to be absolutely stunning. It's one of those projects that I think will be a real statement piece that I'll probably wear loads, especially in the autumn. And yeah, it will be hard work, but it will be completely worth it if it looks anything like hers does at the end. And the Knitting for Olive Merino seems to knit up really nicely. It's very, very soft and plump and squidgy, which I like. And I will probably make something with the spare ball that I have, which isn't the right colour. I'll just grab it now, actually, so you can have a look. It is this one here. So this is the shade Mushroom Rose, and it's the shade that was too close to the sand, which is this colour. Yeah, I mean, looking at them together now, you can understand why this wasn't going to work for colour work. They're just way too similar. But when I was ordering them online, I was a bit more optimistic that this was going to be a bit pinker than it actually turned out to be. But no, it's this very, very pretty creamy colour. But I reckon what I'll do, when I order the other ball in yellow to do my shawl, I'll probably try and order 3 more balls of this and maybe some mohair and knit up the new vest number 8 by My Favourite Things. Yes, My Favourite Things again, because I absolutely adore her stuff. It's all so stunning and I would wear 99% of everything that she designs. But yeah, I reckon that vest, which is a gorgeous cabled vest with the option for buttons, I haven't decided whether I would do buttons or not, but I'll have to think about it. That could be really, really pretty in this sort of beige, mushroomy colour with a bit of mohair for a bit of extra fluff. I probably won't be able to wear it for a few months, but that doesn't matter. I'm contemplating starting more autumnal knits now, even though it's way, way too hot, and I get a bit frustrated if I get hot when I'm knitting. It's just, I love autumn colours and big warm snuggly things that I can cozy up in. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what I actually do with that. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is this, which, if you have seen it, you will know this is the yarn that I dyed in my natural dye video. And I got this colour by using onion skins and tea. So 1 bath of onion skins and then 1 bath of tea. And I finally managed to roll it up into this lovely shape, which was quite a nightmare to do, I won't lie. It took me a lot of goes and yeah, was actually the most difficult part of the whole process, which I think says something about me just being quite useless and impatient when it comes to winding up my yarn. But I'm very pleased with the colour, and this is a few weeks later and it's still nice and bright, and I'm thinking about doing a summery top with this, maybe the Lazy Daisy top by, I think her username is Rachel Knits Things, I think that's right, or let me just check, yeah, Rachel Knits Things Lazy Daisy crop. Now I will, as always, include that with a link down below and also to her Instagram, because you can check out some of her other really cute things. It's just a very simple camisole with some little daisies embroidered into it, and I think that again would be really sweet with a comfy linen shirt over the top, or just on its own when I'm going for a bit more of a casual look, or if I'm going swimming or something, that could be nice too. But yeah, I reckon that's what I'm going to do with this. It has held up quite well, drops flora again, very reliable, and I hope that my Friday tee, which is also in Drops Flora, won't be too hot, because that will tell me, once I've worn that once, whether I will be able to make the Lazy Daisy crop out of this yarn, or whether it's just not suited at all for summer. Now, another thing which is on my potential to knit list is the Ranunculus. So I've seen a lot of other podcasters make their own version of the Ranunculus. I really like the one by Woolly Witchcraft. I love her channel, and she's really sweet. She has a beautiful cat that I always admire on Instagram. And yeah, just check it out, I'll link it below. But hers is in quite a summery yarn, I think held together with a rowan mohair. I'm thinking about something similar, so 1 strand of something a little bit more summery, maybe with silk, held together with a bit of mohair, just because I can't resist that fuzzy halo. I've been looking through all of the possible yarn combinations, but I am finding it quite hard to make up my mind. So if you have any ideas of what might be a good colour or a good combination, especially from brands like Rowan and Drops, or even Knitting for Olive, because those are the ones that are most easily available to me here, then do let me know. Also, I'm contemplating colour. Maybe yellow, or yellowy mustardy kind of colour. I think that could be really, really pretty. And at the moment with summer, I'm into kind of boho type colours and a little bit of pattern. So this dress that I'm wearing has been a real staple, and things like this little swatch, mystery swatch, which I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. These are some of the vibes that I'm going for this summer, but we'll have to wait and see what I convert this into. I'm not sure yet. Could be a nice cushion for in here. Mind you, a tote bag could also be very, very cute, and it could be quite nice on too. So it's hard to decide. I'm not entirely sure, but I know I want to design something, a couple of things maybe this summer. So I'm trying to push myself to come up with ideas for something that I want to make. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I will be setting up my little space here with a couple more knickknacks and making it lovely and pretty as background for you all. And I hope if I have a more permanent setup, I will be able to make a few more videos for you. I know I've been a bit patchy with my uploading, and I do want to set myself a more strict schedule. But knitting is a process that sometimes just takes longer than you anticipate, and rushing it just makes you stress out about it, and knitting is supposed to be for stress relief, not stress inducing. So I will be mindful of that going forward as well. But I just hope I'll be able to talk to you more regularly, because our little chats on here, well, technically me chatting to myself in a camera, but all of your lovely comments make it feel like a conversation. Yeah, our chats really make me happy, and it's lovely to be able to share my projects with everyone. So thank you so much for watching. Sorry it was slightly shorter this time. I promise the next one will be a little bit longer and I'll have a bit more to show you. But thank you so much. Subscribe if you want to stick around and watch a couple more and see what else I make, and drop any suggestions for anything that we talked about down below. Thanks a lot, and hope you're having a lovely summer. Bye!